welcome to Let Freedom Ring. As you can see clearly, we have some security here. We talked about having security around the building. It wasn't totally in the budget to keep paying that because that's a lot of bodies to have, around the building, So we're going to have one security guard here each week just to make sure if Soapy pre-op shows up, we want to have him just escorted right off the premises. Again, Soapy, if you want to meet face-to-face, not jump me while I'm, trying to host a show, that'd be much appreciated. But, I'm not hard to find, but we do have security here, so it's good. So feel good. But this week, making his second appearance, his last appearance was a big hit on YouTube. John Maksin. John, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, I appreciate you coming in. We were supposed to have Maverick Wild, former professional wrestler. Mav's not feeling well after getting the vaccine. We will get him back on another one, but I appreciate you being able to come in.
Anything. I appreciate you asking me.
Yeah. So good to have you. But how you been since your last episode? I think in November it was.
Yeah, around the holiday season. Still about the same, I got some home projects going on. I'm finishing up my basement. Now that the spring's coming around, now it's moved on to the backyard.
Yeah.
Seeding and all that stuff. So it never ends. It never ends. But yeah, I've been fine. And my son starts t-ball.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, he starts tomorrow.
Nice.
First night. So it's exciting.
Now you live in Manchester, is that or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Now, is it just one league in Manchester for the kids, or they have? Because when I was a kid in Nashville, it was like Nashville North, East, South.
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
This is my first go around.
Yeah.
But from what I know, it's just Manchester Little League.
Okay.
But you do play at several fields, so I'm sure there might be, say if there's 6 or 8 teams, designated one day a week, and all those teams play at separate fields or whatnot. So
I'm sure at some point they might have to have you put on the coaching hat, which is always
I have a hard time as it is. I might be setting the bar a little too high, but I tell him as long as he's having fun and it's something that he wants to do, I'm all for it.
Nice.
No, I don't want to be too much.
That's exciting, and I just mentioned because my brother got dragged into coaching, soccer. He never played soccer in his life. He was coaching 5-year-olds.
Here's the clipboard.
Yeah, he's like, all right, run around the field, kick it here. I went to a few of the games. Was like, yeah, we didn't play soccer growing up.
Yeah.
So, how you feeling about the spring? So it's now springtime. It was a pretty tough winter with COVID. Obviously, we talked about this on the show, as I had to take a week off, just having, I had some mental health issues going on during the winter. Nice that the weather's getting nice. How you feeling about spring starting, and are you ready for softball?
Yes to both. I'm just excited. The weather's breaking. Sun's out a little bit longer. Excluding softball, just get to do all the fun activities, like I was saying with my son, whether it be t-ball, going for a walk, and being able to do stuff outside. Oh, it's I love it. I love this time of year. And then, with hopefully things with COVID, getting the restrictions getting a little bit more laid back. Take a trip down to Hampton for the day. So that's something that I didn't do last year. Still figuring this whole thing out. But and as for softball, I'm ready. I didn't play last year, and I just obviously I want to win anything that I do. That's what I set my my goals for, is to win a championship in anything I do. But just getting out there. This year means a little bit more than years prior.
I agree. Yes, and I gotta say, like you said, things opening back up a little bit. My brother Tim and Bobby, they went to Fenway Park the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yesterday. I thought it was a night game, so I just said no because I hate going into Boston. And then they're posting pictures midday, and I go, "Oh, it was a day game." I was like, I wouldn't have mind going to that. So.
And I feel like I don't know if they're doing a little bit different this year because they were on right now, but they're playing down in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what's going on, but Bobby sent me pictures, and he's got a whole row by himself, and I'm like, oh, that's the dream. I hate being in Fenway and have to ask everybody to move every time I want to get a beer or go to the bathroom. So I'm like, probably should have gone.
Especially if you get that dreadful middle of the row.
God. Well, if you're the bleacher seats, sometimes there's only one way out. So if you're on all the way at the end, you're going through everybody to just get out of there.
How many stadiums have you been to?
Honestly, only, and this is regrettably, I've only been to Fenway, I've been to the Nationals, I've been to some more minor league. I've been, obviously, Fisher Cats, Greensboro Grasshoppers, and I can't really think of any more off the top of my head. I'd love to go. I should go to more. Have you been to quite a few?
Myself, no. I have a couple of buddies that have done like the east of the Mississippi and gone and cleared that list. Myself and we've all agreed, and I've been to a handful just like yourself, Fenway, I don't think there's a bad seat in Fenway. Like, yeah, you might get behind a beam or whatnot, but other than that, like if you're in a seat and can visually see the game without anything like in your face, like I have no problem. And I've been to Fenway about 4 times. No issues seeing the game clearly wherever I'm at.
Yeah,
I love it.
No, and it's funny you asked that question because if you asked like 20-year-old Dan, he would have been like, I'm going to see all the ballparks. 36-year-old says, all right, I guess I didn't do that, so maybe it's time to get on it a little bit. How do you feel about the vaccine rollout so far? Have you had any experience with that yet? And again, we had a guest here today that was supposed to be here, but the vaccine wasn't, I've heard people haven't been feeling great after it.
Like I said before, it's like teach their own. I'm not as eager as others to get it. That being said, I'm a little bit more reserved on getting it. I'd like to see how it plays out, in the first go-arounds. But if it's becoming a thing where it's mandatory, when I say mandatory, like you still have that choice, but your choices of doing things in the public, going to events and stuff like that, like if it's becoming mandatory to do that, then yeah, I'll have to reevaluate it and eventually get the vaccine. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I signed up for more at the end of April. I'm gonna let see how everybody else is doing by then. But yeah, it's just some people more eager, obviously. Yeah. I think for me personally, just if my family's all doing it, then I'll do it. If they were not doing it, I probably would be like, all right. But hopefully, we just start to see more and more normalcy going on. Current events, kind of, we got a lot of gun violence in this country. Heated debate, always been a heated debate. But ex-NFL player today, Phillip Adams, killed 5 people, including a doctor in South Carolina. I mean, obviously, and I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but people are already doing so. We've seen some mass murder and because he killed himself at the end too, due to CTE. Any take on what happened? Do we think possibly? I mean, it's not the first time an ex-NFL player has, killed and then killed himself.
Yeah, well, the only way to figure out if it was CTE is they're going to have to examine his brain now, and that'd be premature to come to a conclusion on that.
And again, that's just people jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Unfortunately, that's how our society is, where everyone's real quick to, not everyone, a lot of people are quick to jump to something that fits their narrative. It might be an article from The Onion. Yeah. And someone's acting like this is, fact.
Yeah.
As far as today's situation, like obviously it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate when, innocent people lose their lives.
Yeah, and one thing as I explain the story, obviously it's a tragedy. These people lost their lives, and I'm not trying to have this just be a CTE conversation, but it is something that people would jump to.
And that's what's going to follow in days to come, and that's what happens with these things, where I try to wait a bit before I make my opinion or come to a conclusion on how I feel. I mean, as of right now, horrible situation that took place. That should have never have happened. Unfortunately, if this guy was going through a mental crisis or an episode, the help that he needed wasn't available for him, and that's what's might be getting lost into this. But things get politicized, and I think rightfully so, from it, because you want to figure out, hey, one, how can we prevent this, and what can we do going forward? And I think it's good to have a conversation about it. You'll get some people that'll be like, oh, and I understand, like, there's probably a rule, I don't know about a law, but a rule saying, hey, you can't carry into a doctor's office or something like that, which obviously didn't take place there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I'm kind of just lost for words. It is a real unfortunate situation that it took place.
And it's like this happens so often. The shootings kind of like died down during COVID, but it's like now as we've opened up again, like they're happening again. I mean, President Biden has said today, and I think he had this speech prepared before this shooting, where he said gun violence in this country is an epidemic and it's an international embarrassment. Basically saying that, the rise of the violence that we have and the gun violence that we have in the United States is something that other countries have, but not to the level that we do. I don't know,
It's difficult with this country because having a Second Amendment, there are pros and cons, and I don't think it even takes a rational person to understand that. The pro side to it, with having a Second Amendment being, you have that ability to defend yourself by any means necessary. The negative side to it is firearms can get into the hands of the wrong people.
Correct, yeah.
And where do you draw that line? I feel more comfortable with the Second Amendment how it is. I don't feel comfortable having it be touched, but I do understand the other side of it too, where we have to ask ourselves, hey, what can we do to prevent certain situations like this from happening again? And unfortunately, I don't think it'll ever go away.
No.
But I do think that we can do a better job of treating people with mental illnesses, whether it be CTE, depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. Not saying that's the case here, but if we can do a better job of offering help to people going through it, that way, maybe it's a utopian world I'm living in, but that way we don't go or have these type of cases happening again.
And it's like on Facebook, everybody becomes the expert, and we're not just talking the right, we're not just talking the left. Everybody becomes this expert on this debate. Whether they're like, it's not the guns, it's mental health. Well, I think mental health is part of it. I do think, personally, I think we don't take mental health serious in this country. I don't think we do. But I also think, and someone's going to say, well, you don't really understand guns and blah, blah, blah. But to me personally, I don't care what it is. If there's a weapon that can kill multiple people at one time, we don't need that in our everyday society. If you handguns, shotguns, anything for hunting, I don't know. I just don't see a place for that. And there's always this debate on the AR-15 that always goes back and forth. But I mean, you look at that weapon, it's intimidating looking.
It's intimidating, but a lot of it's cosmetic though too.
Yeah.
It fires, without you, working on it itself, stock-wise, operates the same as just, a hunting rifle.
Yeah.
So, I get it if like someone's not a gun person and they look at it, obviously, like you said, to the outside looking at it, wow, that's pretty intimidating looking, and I would agree. But until you're around it and then you operate it, you don't know what kind of the person, the user behind it, what kind of issues that they may have. That gun's very good for accuracy and whatnot. Very fits for women specifically. But yeah, and this has been a debate that's been going on. They've discussed this in the Federalist Papers.
Yeah.
Way back, and they came to the conclusion that, not to get too crazy about it, but eventually, governments do turn on people. Now, I'm not advocating, every day-to-day people, have drones now and being able to fire off RPGs and whatnot, but Yeah, but and I understand what you're saying. Like to the average person, it does look intimidating.
Well, the only thing too is like, and I don't know, like to have something like long like that you can kind of like do this pretty easy. Like the movement's pretty easy. Now you can say that about a handgun, but you're saying that gun's pretty accurate.
But you still have to pull the trigger
Just
once
true.
along the way, which is still the same as a handgun.
Yeah.
Down the line.
Yeah, I don't think it's a simple thing. I think that the other problem is we have a lot of politicians that the NRA is in their pocket. So you're never going to have real conversation about it. You're going to have one side saying, let's get rid of it. The other side says, well, I want my grade with the NRA to be good. And I want money from lobbyists. So why would I?
Yeah, and there's some stuff, like anything else, there's some stuff I like about the NRA and there's some stuff that I don't. I'm on the side where I'd want to have, like, while it can fall in the hands of bad people, I also want to protect the weak and have the weak to be able to protect themselves. And that goes down even if nonviolent felons don't have that ability to own a firearm. I would like to see that eventually. Because a lot of, I do, my heart does weep for like, a single mother or whatnot, or someone that lives in a very bad neighborhood that could be a sitting target at, by someone looking to do harm towards them and their family. Unfortunately, like you said, lobbyists get involved and whatnot. I would just, my own opinion, I would hate to see a bureaucrat or, regulate very strongly, or even more strongly than it already is, towards owning a firearm.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to have real conversations about it, and I think it's hard because people get so emotionally invested. It is crazy, and I'm not going to disagree with the president. It is kind of an embarrassment to that we look that way, How do you think Biden's been doing so far?
I don't think he's been overly horrible. I don't think he's been great either. I just think it's been
middle of the road.
Middle of the road. I don't think there's much change. Like maybe you're not getting as many crazy tweets.
That's for sure.
But my life really hasn't changed. And excuse me. Yeah, but I was in that same position months back, when the election was going around. I wasn't a fan of Trump. I understood, his rise, being not PC. However, just because he wasn't like, the typical Washington politician, people think, oh, well, he's not corrupt. Well, he is, corrupt. He comes with, some baggage.
A lot, yeah.
And then on the other side, like, Biden, the one thing that's, like, unfortunate with him, like, he might have, like, 2 years left to, be on this planet.
Well, it's crazy that we elect officials that are so elderly, because it's like, you could make decisions that are going to impact us while we're still here. I don't think I'd want to be the president when I'm in my 70s. That should be your golden years to, like, go be with your grandkids. Go be on the lake.
And I've gone back and forth whether or not like there should be a restriction on how old like you can be. But then, what's to say there's someone that's that age that has like a very good agenda to come around?
Like a Bernie that a lot of people got behind. I'm not saying Bernie was like the end all.
Well, no, I mean
a lot of people got behind.
If that's someone that like, and I can see that. There's not everything that I agree with, but the one thing which is crazy that's how we view a politician is like he was sincere. I knew where he stood. I didn't think, oh, he's saying one thing to my face and then doing something behind. No. But I also too, like, I don't know if there should be an age limit on how young you be either.
I agree with that.
A lot of the stuff that people get, AOC crap for is, oh, she's young, she's this, she's that. Well, yeah, she's young, but she, comes in with a different opinion, a different agenda than the status quo. And
when you talk about like your average, I guess, Joe or Jane, she was your typical average Jane, bartender. Yeah, she went to Boston University, great. But she literally didn't even know how she was going to pay for her first apartment in D.C. How much regular of a person do you get than that?
That's yeah.
And they shred her for that. I go, I don't know. I kind of want my regular everyday people.
That's a hard grind. That's a very hard grind. And regardless of what you think about her and her positions, you have to admire someone that is able to go through that day-to-day grind, that hustle, just to make ends meet, and to see where she's at now. Again, and it's nuts that you have to put a disclaimer out there that you don't endorse every specific thing.
You don't have. No one needs to do that.
But there's just some people you would if you just took her name away, and gave her a resume of what she's done without her name on it. I think 99 out of 100 people would be like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But then you put her name and then her party to it. Those numbers would drop. Oh, no.
Yeah, they want to, and then she may say some radical things, but I also think I don't want just people that have had everything handed to them all throughout their life, like a Donald Trump, making decisions for me we're working people. We've worked for everything we got. Trump was handed a lot of things. I'm not saying that every politician didn't work for what they got. A lot of them did. But a lot of them started off on third base. You know what I mean? And it's refreshing to see politicians, in my opinion, that went from just being an everyday person to being in government.
And it's one thing to be handed something and still have that that humble feeling, you're still a relatable person, but there's another thing where you're handed it and you could tell that this person's just not in touch with reality.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of laughed at the thought that Donald Trump is this common guy, this relatable human being to the hardworking man and whatnot. And I don't see it, but also I think what was appealing more to him was that he was not Barack Obama, not Hillary Clinton. He could have said and has said some outrageous things, and I think they were a lot of people were so tired of that they were willing to hop on that train.
Yeah.
And it's I think as Americans you have to look at that and say, what can we how can we get away from that again?
Yeah. No, it was definitely a wild couple of years.
Yeah.
But all right, let's we're going to talk about Rudy Giuliani's son's going to run for governor of New York. I don't want to get into that too much cuz I want to do this other segment. Since you were a replacement today, we didn't get fan questions. I know the last time you were on, they were just coming in left and right. It was getting the alerts,
Most of them should have went to the spam folder.
Yeah, somewhere, But I think that just means a lot of people like you. But random questions. First one. This is actually for my girlfriend Stephanie because she wanted to know. Where would you like to vacation post-COVID?
So,
if you go anywhere,
I've wanted to travel Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really travel to begin with, and this was before COVID. I'd like to travel Europe, just go through. I think you could do all the stuff that I like all in one. The history, learning around, trying different beers and all different languages, and just I think that's pretty cool because you can go through Europe and
you get so many countries in one trip.
Yeah, and I don't think it would be a very long trip either, which is right up my alley too. I wouldn't have to be there for a month.
Yeah.
If I do something maybe 4 or 5 days, I think I would be good. Another place would be the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go whenever Brady goes in. I want to be there.
And that might be the biggest turnout that they get there.
Probably, yeah. I might have to book. I mean, I don't know when he's ever going to retire, so I don't even know when to even try to plan to book that. If you had 3 wishes, we're talking like the genie in Aladdin, Robin Williams. If you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for?
I mean, it's a cliche to say more wishes.
He actually said that in Aladdin. You can't do
anything
that.
But.
Yeah.
So I did write that down. I'd go for world peace.
Okay.
I feel like I'm on a beauty pageant now without the beauty part. No poverty.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just like a perfect utopian world where like no one works, no one struggles. Yeah, I would like that. And then a personal one, a selfish one for me. I'd like to fly, like be able to like wish the ability to fly.
Like yourself or be
Yeah.
a pilot? Okay.
Yeah,
Yourself.
myself.
Okay.
Like just up whenever I can. If I don't like a certain situation, I'm out.
Yeah.
Or if I just want to go and do my own thing. Yeah.
All right. Good. Good. What's the strangest thing in your refrigerator right now?
I don't know if I have anything strange. Strange, borderline disgusting. There's probably like expired yogurt.
Yeah, I got some expired stuff.
Yeah, like I don't know. Strange. I think there's all a purpose for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're more than welcome to come over, and then that could be,
check it out.
you can audit that.
What does John have in his refrigerator today?
Yeah.
All right, last one in random questions. What is the stupidest thing you've ever done on a dare?
On a dare. Oh, I think it was like third or fourth grade, and we're doing the tour in Philly, Old City, like Independence Mall, all that, like the founding fathers type of stuff. Someone dared me to throw a glass bottle at a building.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and me, because I'm like, oh, it's for the laughs. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like then makes an obvious shatter. Teacher's like, what the, just happened. And you try to save face, like, oh, I didn't do it, and like, but yeah, that's
Is that a call to the parents?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I mean, to be honest, there was probably a lot of them where, then they're asking themselves, actually, no, probably not, because there was no cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think
They would have to go all the way back to.
Yeah, and calling at least for something that regards me, I don't think would warrant them to want to pay anything a little bit extra than the quarter it was. So.
All right, let's get into sports a little bit here. Rumor, and a lot of people are already doubting this, Justin Fields is the quarterback for Ohio State. There are rumors that the Patriots want to move up to get him. Do you think that's even reality, or?
No, they have nothing to give up.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they want to mortgage like 5 years of picks.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if he falls to them, which
they got to draft somebody. I mean, I love Cam Newton, but he's not the future of the answer of that team.
No.
So.
And for this year itself, if they do get someone in the first round, a quarterback, the one nice thing that they've done in the free agency with tight ends, I mean, they're going to run, Harrison to the ground. Now you got two tight ends, two very good tight ends, which are Cam Newton's favorite, and they're usually a rookie quarterback's go-to. It's a nice, comfortable player to throw to. And I also, even though he's just a meme god, Nelson Aguilar, I think is a very good ad for the Patriots. He is a deep threat. I mean, we're not talking like a Tyreek Hill, but you're going to have to kind of pick your poison and feed demands a double team. It'll free up some guys underneath, and also help out with the running game too.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a much better team. I'm excited for the draft this year. I really am. I think we're seeing something different out of Belichick right now. Is
it remote again? Like, is it that awkward?
No, I don't think it's totally
Goodell's
remote.
basement?
Because I already heard that the number one pick, I can't think of his name right now.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence is going to be at home. So it sounds like there's going to be people there. Rangers, Texas Rangers packed their stadium on Monday. I'm assuming that's what's going on. Texas is totally open, about 40,000 people. I saw some mass, I saw some not. Taking a big risk here?
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, to them, a lot of them almost froze to death about like a month or two ago, so they're probably just looking to celebrate.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Something.
Yeah, a lot of different takes on there. I heard people on Facebook being like, this is amazing to see again. I've seen other being like, this is dumb. And
yeah, and it just, again, I think it's just, as this goes on, I said this the last time I was on, as this goes on, you're at a fork in the road.
Yeah.
And can we live with this as a society, or is this something that like we're going to have to like get out? And I
think it's here forever.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
And to the people that go and they wear their mask, that's great. If you're going to go and not wear your mask, I mean, I don't recommend that, but I do understand wanting to go back to that normalcy, like what you were normal and comfortable with before. And while I do disagree with not wearing a mask, because worst case scenario, if the mask does nothing, whatever, it does nothing. But if there's so much that can be done without wearing a mask, I don't know why someone, it seems like a safe bet just to put it on until you figure it out.
Well, I mean, at this point, I've bought so many masks. I got my flag one here. I have so many masks that I'm like, I'm not ready for this to be over because I got to wear some that I haven't even worn yet. It's like stylish now.
And you don't keep receipts either.
No, so I'm not returning these. I walked into Buffalo Wild Wings with my Patriots mask on. It's looking cool. Masks go away. I don't know. I can't make a fashion statement anymore. So I don't know. Part of me doesn't want masks to ever go away. I kind of like wearing a mask. And then sometimes when you don't want to say hi to somebody, you just pull your hat down real low. You got your mask on, and you can avoid them.
I like the mask because it does hide half of this mug, and we're looking kind of good these days.
Yeah. How do you feel about Wentz is off to the Colts as a Philadelphia Eagles fan? Were you mad?
No. I mean, I think because the last time I was here, that idea was getting thrown out, getting Hurts to start and whatnot, and I wasn't for it, but I also. Let me answer your question first, where it was best for both sides. I think he was just mentally checked out.
Sure.
If he had stayed, then it becomes an issue with him and Hurts. Someone was able to take that money or a good portion of it. I think both sides went out. He gets to go start his own thing in Indy. It's a little bit laid back there. He's comfortable and knows the guy, Frank Reich, who was the offensive coordinator for that Eagles Super Bowl run. So he's got a good rapport with him, and they play good defense, good running game, good offensive line. Hopefully, all that is asked of him is just come in and just steer this thing, just steer it, make a couple plays here and there, but just if he plays the way that he's capable of and that MVP 2017 year, the Colts are going to be a really good team. And then as far as the Eagles make out, because then you can now hand it over to Jalen Hurts, his team going forward, and you can build around him now. No distractions, new head coach. I wish they got rid of the GM, but that's
a lot of Philly fans feel.
Yeah.
Do you believe in Jalen Hurts? Yeah,
I mean, even if I didn't, I gotta hop
on
board.
Kind of like I do with Cam.
Exactly, but you got to be fair. And I'm not one to get, with the highs too high. I mean, he definitely balled out for his first few starts. Granted, it was a very simple game plan, which kind of annoyed me with how they didn't give Wentz that if they felt like he was struggling. But that's, in the past. Now he's got a full off season. Hopefully it's not a remote off season now where he can go in person, build a rapport with these guys, new draft picks coming in, the head coach. And yeah, I mean, I want to see where this is going, and I'm really excited for them.
Do you think Philly sports media, a lot like Boston media, can be too negative?
Yeah. I mean, I don't I wish it wasn't the case, but it's true. Perfect example, the Phillies won it 2008, the World Series, and that ended I forget how many years. It might have been like a 26-year drought.
It was a while.
A long time.
They had been in the World Series, but they hadn't won it.
Yeah.
Was the last one 1980?
Yeah,
okay.
but you had the Eagles, that series of NFC Championship games, Flyers, Sixers. I mean, it was just a lot of bad luck. But so they win that the following year, and always remember this. It was opening day. Brett Myers is out, and they get shelled by Atlanta. And next day on the radio, calling them bums, this and that. I'm like, man, because the talk would be, hey, do you want to mortgage 15 losing seasons for one successful season. And a lot of people
would.
were like, yeah.
Yeah.
And now that finally happened, people couldn't,
They go right back to it.
just one loss.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is. I think there's a certain level of expectation. It's definitely blue collar. You want, the fans want to see the effort. But I also think there's a lot of fans that aren't as, their sports IQ isn't as high as they think it is.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of knee-jerk reactions to some stuff.
I'll tell you what, I don't listen to Boston. I don't listen to Sports Hub. I'm going to say that right here on the show. I don't listen to WEEI. I can't stand it. It just gets too much with the negativity. It's like, I just want to watch sports and enjoy it. We've won a lot around here. So I'm like at a point where it's like, I don't want to hear this. I just want to watch the games. I'll make my own conclusion. And I don't need to hear Billy Smith and Bill Ricca and what he cares about, because I don't care what
First
Billy
time, long
Smith
time.
and Bill Ricca. Yeah. I don't care what he thinks. All-Star games going from Atlanta now to sounds like Colorado, over kind of the state legislator has passed some kind of unfair voting things as far as absentee ballot and things like that. There was all kinds of stuff in it. Did Manfred make the right move? Do you think it's irrelevant? Are they making a big statement?
I don't think they're making a big statement. His players were probably mad and upset, and
because these laws are going to hurt people of color in Georgia.
There's a huge. Do I think the MLB feels that? No, I don't think I don't think they remotely care. And when I say MLB, I'm sure there's people within, but ultimately, their main interest is their pocket.
Yeah.
And if they feel like it's going to get hurt or their image is going to get hurt negatively, they'll do anything they can. And a perfect example is the Atlanta Braves will still have games at their stadium. I see this law. I can see it from both sides. I don't know enough on it. Do I think it might be a little bit extra for them to pull it? Yeah, especially in such a time like COVID where they were probably looking to this moment to maybe get their economy back on. Now I got pulled out, from beneath them. But, I understand the MLB wanting to protect their image, regardless of, how they genuinely feel on the inside.
I mean, I guess that's one of my giant problems with the right, is that it always feels like they pass things to get less people voting. And I believe you should be getting more people voting. There should be more ways. The voter fraud stuff, to me, is a crock. It's a crock of shit. I'm going to say that right here. It's just used to, when you lose or if things don't go the way you want, that's what you claim. I'm sure there's some voter fraud that's very small, not really impacting elections. So, yeah, I had a big problem with it. Good for MLB, in my opinion. But, again, I think it's more just a branding thing for them. DMX is very little brain activity right now. We could lose DMX. He actually was doing rehab in this area. I had a lot of friends that just walked up, and DMX was more than willing to take pictures with people.
Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be very sad to lose him. Obviously, he's had a substance abuse problem. And it looks like it might be taking his life now. Do you have a favorite DMX song, just in memory of the good days of him?
X gonna give it to you?
Yeah.
I mean,
I loved all his albums are so good. I do. Slippin' was my favorite.
It just gets you in the mood.
Yeah.
Like, especially because, at that age, or when I was listening to someone who was my teens.
Yeah.
Get you in the, all wound up and ready to go for whatever kind of, sporting activity you were doing. So, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that it's going on, and yeah, it's, I mean, it's so it's unfortunate. Like a celebrity, it kind of make like a little light on like a really serious situation.
This happened to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
this is not just him too. A lot of people this is affecting. A lot of people are going through substance issues, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah. No, he'll always be one of my favorite. I hope he pulls through. I mean, I remember when we played football. We'd have certain songs, I'm not going to say on the air, that we would play that you wouldn't suspect a bunch of kids in Nashua, New Hampshire listening to. What are your thoughts on today's music? Because I'm not going to lie, I'm trying. Like, I'd post on Facebook, I was like, you know what? This When It's Up song by Cardi B, I'll give it a chance. For the most part, I'm not a fan of today's music, and it's because I'm getting old, I think.
Yeah, that's probably it.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be that whiny, old man, I guess now.
I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but I'm also, excuse me, I'm just listening to more podcasts lately.
Yeah.
That's what I've been on. I stick to the old music, the old school music that I grew up with, and I'm sure my parents grew up with. But today's music, I cannot relate to it.
Yeah, and it's funny, I'm like, because I remember when I was a kid and the stations my parents would listen to, which is now all music that I enjoy. But at the time, I was like, why don't we listen to the new stuff? It's like they listen to their generation.
Yeah.
And then, do you have a favorite baseball movie?
Oh, I got a few. I can count them. I like The Rookie.
Yes.
He's throwing heat by the...
who was the actor there? I can't think of his name right now.
I can't think of it either. But you just seen how hard he could throw on the side of the road.
Yeah.
42.
Yes.
That's... Man. And it's crazy because it wasn't even 100 years ago.
No.
And just to see what someone had to put up with. Moneyball.
Yes.
Moneyball. League of Their Own. And The Sandlot.
Sandlot turned, 28 the other day? Because it came out in 93. I think yesterday was the 28th anniversary it came out. I will say with 42 as well, a lot of, in fact, you might not know, Homan Stadium in Nashua actually has some role into that color, that Don Newcomb and Roy Campanella, also African-American players that were playing for the Nashua Dodgers.
Oh, okay.
So they started here and then were called up to Brooklyn eventually. So there's this all these books written on the Nashua Dodgers, because as much as Jackie Robinson was the number one guy, these other players came too.
That might explain it, because I feel like I've seen wall art on one of the on the building. Letter Streets, Nashua.
Their numbers are retired on the wall with Jackie Robinson, some other numbers, and 2 streets by the stadium are named after them.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Pretty historic. Some, the Nashua Pirates at one point. There was the Nashua Angels. Then there were some other leagues that weren't as high as MLB related. Let's get into blank versus blank. We got some good ones for you today. We're going to take you back to the 90s here in the first one. We're going to talk boy bands. All right? The 2 biggest of the 90s, and I remember being in middle school, and all the girls were obsessed with them. But you got the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC. You can only keep one.
It'd probably be NSYNC because of JT.
He did become the biggest star of all of them, right?
Yeah. I wasn't too, boy band crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean...
but, I mean, as a solo artist, I like JT, so I guess by default,
he gets
with
it.
Yeah, he gets it with NSYNC.
I will say the first boy band, because I would buy R&B groups, which I don't put them to, I don't know. Blackstreet was an R&B group, but they were all guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could,
It's, I guess, boy band for R&B.
Yeah, so I would say, but the first boy band album I bought was No Strings Attached by NSYNC, because they actually had some bangers on that album. And that was the start of the rise of Justin Timberlake.
I think they got out of a really bad agent, too.
Yeah, that guy was a criminal. I forget his name. He passed away, but he got into Perlman? Ron Perlman?
You would know better than I do.
Yeah, he was ripping these guys off.
Yeah.
I believe he went to prison. Yeah.
Prison, because I think I don't know if they settled or how it turned out, but
he might have gone to prison for something else.
But it was both boy bands, and I think he got hooked up with a third one.
Yeah.
And did the same exact thing to them, and I think both boy bands gave the third party fair warning of what was going to take place, and everything that they warned about took place.
All right. I don't want to throw a name under the bus that was not accurate on that, but Perlman. Lou Pearlman. Lou Pearlman,
Who did
not
you
Ron.
Ron? So you probably gave someone some free clout.
So if there's a Ron Perlman out there, I apologize. I just smeared your name. We're talking about Lou Pearlman, and I believe so. He passed away in 2016, and he was in prison at the time.
Can we get a Twitter handle for Ron?
Yeah, I mean, Ron, we're sorry. There's a Ron Perlman out there. Might even be a Ron Perlman in Merrimack that's watching this. Is gonna be like, I never had anything to do with NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Ooh, MJ.
Oh, yep. Man, it's funny because I got more into Prince after he passed away. You know, Stevie Wonder said if Michael Jackson was the king of pop, Prince was the emperor. And Prince was freaking good.
Yeah.
I mean, not just like, but he could play the guitar. Michael could dance and sing. But I probably will agree with you.
Every time I think of Prince, though, and it's unfortunate, I just think of how he's portrayed on Chappelle's show.
Oh, yeah. That's never going to
go away.
Point blouses.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And R.I.P. Charlie Murphy, because he had the best stories from, like, the 80s and everything like that. Like, he was such a big part of Chappelle's show being so successful, was Charlie Murphy's stories.
I was just watching Chappelle's show skits.
Yeah.
The Traded Spouses one.
Oh, God. Yeah. I don't even want I want to quote something from it, but I'm not going to here on the show. We're a family show.
Yep.
So, Joe Biden or Trump?
Oh, Joe. You have a coin?
Yeah, not on me.
You know what? I'll go with Biden because he's our president right now, and I am always looking into the future.
All right. And one other thing I will just say about that is, because, you know, I have a buddy that's like, well, Trump did this for us and that. I go, but, and he's like, Joe stumbles under his words. I go, but Biden feels like an actual, like, leader. It's not just about him, which I think I appreciate at this point, you know.
Trump's like you feel like you've been at that rave. Yeah. But like the rave was like 4 years long. Yeah. And you just feel like you've been partying for like way too long. And you need to like kind of come down from it a little bit, get back to some sort of normalcy. Even if the normalcy is like this guy that's 86 and has about 15 more minutes to live. That's that set of normalcy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I agree with you. I'm not saying Biden's been perfect because he wasn't my first choice, obviously, during the primaries. So.
And what it comes down to, and this is, someone explained it to me like this in very simple terms. If it is the less of two evils, it's, well, which candidate is going to build the least amount of concentration camps is who you go with. Ultimately, if they're still evil, they're not good, who's, you know, and to me that was kind of, you know, pretty, because I've always looked at it very black and white. Oh, that's evil, I can't go with evil. It's like, well, you're not always going to align yourself with every decision that they make. You're not going to, you know, fully endorse that idea, but someone that comes close to it. Yeah.
No, I agree. All right, here's a good one. We're going to talk a little bit about Phillies in the 90s. Lenny Dykstra or John Kruk?
Kruk.
Yeah.
It was, Kruk was one of my favorite players growing up. Mickey Morandini.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of the name. But if I remember correctly, but it's so long ago, and I wish we had it on video, I think I used to have my stance a lot like John Kruk's.
Okay.
And another classic moment I like with Kruk was, I think it was the All-Star game.
Yeah, I'll never be that was like, him and Randy Johnson made that All-Star game so much fun.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. He's like, ooh, that was fast.
Yeah. He turns the helmet backwards, and you know what, though? Just talking about what happened there, because Kruk ends up striking out. I mean, Randy Johnson was probably the most intimidating pitcher ever, at least that I ever saw. And stuff like that, though, makes the All-Star game fun. It should be fun.
It's entertainment.
It's an exhibition. You know what? You know, it should be fun, you know?
And it's a break from the day-to-day grind. You get the best players in the world all on one field. fans are paying a lot of money, still are paying a lot of money to go to these games. Yeah, you should, get it for what, get the best entertainment value out of all of that.
There was criticism about the pitcher who might have thrown a meatball to Cal Ripken to hit a home run like in his last. And you know what? That's fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it did matter for a little bit because of the home field advantage, but they've done away with that again.
But baseball has the hardos though.
Yeah.
And I think I'm one of them too, but I'm a little bit more laid back for like stuff like that. I mean, you look at all the other All-Star games, like basketball. There's no defense in basketball, but it's just entertainment value. Yeah, I want to see people, like throwing alley-oops from half court.
Yeah,
that's not contested.
And it's been tough with the Pro Bowl because the football is such a contact sport that, like, I know it's never been greatly entertaining, but they should just kind of do maybe. Who cares? It's an exhibition, All right. Were you into the American Pie movies at all?
Not too much, but I mean, if you want to.
American Pie 1 or 2?
1. You always go with the original.
The original.
Yeah.
Because I was watching. I enjoyed the whole series, and I had someone on the show the other day where I was like, I have a plan for the 5th one if they want to do it. But
are you pitching the idea?
I already pitched it.
Okay.
So you'll have to check the show with Mike Daggs to see that. I don't give away 2 things for free.
Fair enough. That's
just how we roll here. But I can tell you off air. All right, let's get into a little bit of pop punk bands of the early 2000s. Yellow Card. I don't know if you remember Yellow Card or Bowling for Soup.
Bowling for Soup, because I don't think I've listened to Yellow Card.
Ocean's Avenue. Okay, look it up. You probably like the song. Bowling for Soup had the 1985.
But to be fair, I'm sure if you put it on though too, I would recognize it.
You would recognize it, yeah. I mean, Yellow Card, Bowling for Soup probably actually had more hits, I want to say, but not by much. If you were to go out on the town, or you would go to Leda Lanes or Merrimack 10-pin, would you rather bowl or play pool?
Bowl. Because I suck at pool.
That makes 2 of us.
I am horrible.
Yeah.
My shot's weak. I shoot left-handed, but then I've had shoulder surgery, 2 of them.
Oh, so you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think same surgery you had, labrum.
Mine was completely torn off the bone, pretty much. I got someone else. Just for the record on the show, to the organ donor that passed away, that is the tissue in my shoulder. Thank you. I am an organ donor myself. But when I pass away, they're gonna have to take it out of the left one, because I don't know. I don't think you could use that tissue twice. A
little worn down.
Yeah, I think after this point, 2 people have had it. A third would just be a little too much.
Yeah, they want the Carfax report on your right shoulder.
WIT or without?
WIT.
All right. I think you made that clear.
Yeah, made it, yeah.
That was a very popular episode. People wanted to know. The Philly cheese. I think I learned so much in that episode about a Philly cheesesteak that I had no idea.
I've learned a lot about how cheesesteaks are outside of that area.
Yeah.
Up here, I didn't know people put mayonnaise in it. People put I guess, is it a steak bomb when they put salami?
Yeah. I have been known to put mayo on.
And part of me is I know I haven't been drinking, so I don't know why this isn't registering.
Yeah.
But I was just, I don't know. And I've come to terms with it, but it makes for a good story when I go back home and I explain how it's done up here. And you have to remind waiters, or whoever kind of service staff that it is that you do place an order with, if you want shaved steak, which of course that's what I want if I get one, while I'm out. I think Alex Lambrulis, I forget where we were, but he had ordered one, and it was steak tips.
Oh wow.
Yeah, or
That's
chunk
different.
steak, and I was like, oh geez.
You probably find this weird. I go to Subway sometimes, and I get the steak and cheese, and at Subway.
Yeah.
I get the cheddar cheese. I put mayo on it.
Oh.
I put pickles and onions, and I get the Italian herbs and cheese bread. And it's probably not, but it's just, for whatever reason, I just like that. It just does enough for me.
It's your go-to. I mean, you were right. Once you said Subway, it did start going all down.
Yeah, I mean, all I had to say was, I went to a chain place to get a cheesesteak. Who does that?
Dan's best place in town, too.
Yeah. Don't quote him on this. All right, here's the toughest one in blank versus blank. 2 softball players. I got Dan Heath. Well, I don't see that often. No one can see Dan that much. Like, he'll show up and then, like, just disappear. It's kind of like his MO,
I was
I
just
guess.
with Dan the other day. Actually, last night.
Oh, you were with him last night?
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw him, at Anthony's surprise party. Or Anthony's sister, Melissa Amato.
I'll go with Melissa.
All right.
Melissa.
I tried to get Melissa. I want Melissa to come on the show, but might have to, like, give her more of a hard time.
Kidnap her. Yeah. No, I mean that really is a tough one. I said Melissa.
That's why it's the hardest one.
I want to be a gentleman about it. But both are good people. I like being around them. Both are polite, nice to me.
Yeah.
Both competitive. I like the competitive edge that they bring, and good softball players all around too.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Good upbeat personalities.
Yeah, they're fun people to be around. That's why whenever Melissa asks me to, like, come play at a tournament, I always say yes. And Dan's usually on the team too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, John, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for doing that last minute. Again, we will have Maverick Wild on at some point. We're gonna have to work with his agent. We're gonna get the Let Freedom Ring staff to try to figure that out to set it up. But also,
I want to thank the security guard too. By the way.
Yeah, I want to thank security this week.
I felt safe. I felt really safe.
better. Once you get hit with a title belt, you're never quite the same. But Soapy, again, try that again. I dare you. We're ready for you now. Or you could come see me face to face. But also this weekend, we got the Let Freedom Ring live stream now going, and we will be doing a little WrestleMania preview show type of thing. We did the first live stream the other day, all baseball show. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, other than that, keep your heads up, wear your masks, get your vaccine, don't get your vaccine. I don't know, it's up to you. But until next time, let freedom ring.